Hello, this is Tim from Tech Artist 41. Welcome back. Well, welcome back more for me because kind of took a little bit of a hiatus. Let's rotate that around. There we go. So, I'm just gonna be starting with a drawing. If you do have any questions, you can always put them in the chat. Alright, without further ado, it's just I needed to practice drawing male characters. This is just something that I just need to do. Ever so often, you do need to do female and male characters. It's just one of those things. I think that came out well. And the body. So, I've been trying to work at getting a sketch ready for my cards, and I've been having a little bit of a struggle drawing male characters. It's easy enough to draw females, but males, everyone has their own advantages, disadvantages to everything. And I'm using shapes. I'm using cylindrical shapes as well as squares, rectangles, all that, really. So, I'm more of just using it to my advantage and just putting things at angles to get exactly what I really want within the image. Some things just may be a little bit dark just so that I can just go over later. Well, they're dark for the reason that I'm just trying to get the figure more so than anything else. But when you're drawing the figure, you need to think of clothes in a second sense. So, yeah, I think I'll keep that for later when I'm trying to figure out what to actually draw for the main character for a guy. Of course, I'm not going to just draw it on screen. Let me go ahead and change to the tablet display. So this is the character that I've been sort of trying to get ready, figure out. She looks really good, and then he kind of looks a little shabby. So I've been trying to work on getting my cards set up and ready. So let's see. But yeah, I think that'll turn out fine. I'm gonna save this as another different copy. We'll call it version 20. Because it is kind of version 20. I'll deal with that later. I'm also working on Chained by Fate, by the way. So here's my comic so far. So yeah, and just working on trying to get this ready and set for actual just set. Once I finish this, I'll actually try to move away from Photoshop and try it and just use Clip Studio. Alright, I'm going to do a few things. First, we'll just use Clip Studio Paint. May take a moment. I'm gonna... Sure, we'll save that. It's not like it's gonna fix anything, really. Alright. That part's saved. Yes. I do like anime, and I also like really, really scary anime. Alright, so Clip Studio Paint version 2. Before I do anything, this kind of has to be cleaned. There we go, it's stream clean. Yes, I use a memory cleaning software in order for me to work with an Intel Mac. It'd be nice to have a new Mac, but we're not all rich. Sometimes we're all just scraping by. So let's just do an illustration this time. Sure, we'll just go with postcard at 1200 DPI. Why not? Alright, I found a few nice features with... Okay, so that... Okay. There we go. Okay. Let me reduce the brush size to something that I can deal with. Get off spray. I will need to adjust that later, but let's see, let's go to brush. So on Clip Studio Paint, there are many different features that actually make it a lot easier to deal with. Delete that layer, hopefully. Yeah, the shortcuts on Mac don't really apply very well on my case, but everyone has some issues. But let's just deal with what I have. So, but this is the issue I have for any sort of program that uses a lot of memory. And the thing is, it works well when I can actually just draw this on my own. But when I'm recording while doing this, it doesn't tend to work. Oh, Photoshop's still open? No wonder it's quit. No wonder it had so much of an issue. Let's force quit Photoshop. Yes. No wonder. Yeah, It's best not to have Photoshop open. That would help. Alright, and we're gonna have to wait a little bit. It may take some time. So let me go ahead and go back over to the document camera while that's just waiting. Now I'm just gonna do one of my sketches. Bring this a little forward. Take off that. So whenever you're doing a sketch, there are many ways to go about it. So to me, I like using this pen because it's a lot easier to use like a pencil. Mostly it just feels more like a pencil than any other pen that I've ever tried. So first, whenever you're trying to figure out what you want to draw, kind of just build off of shapes. So for a female figure, you go towards that. For a male figure, you get a little bit more blocky. But we're starting with a female figure anyway. One of my favorite things to do. Just draw everything out. But a sketch doesn't have to look pretty, but it does have to end up in a way where you can take the sketch and, well, put it into your computer and whatnot. So, and females don't have to be busty, and I just mostly make them busty. More so on the lines that it's more fun to just to deal with that. But the challenge, and I do kind of want you to try to make this challenge possible. Oh. Did the document camera just... Oh, yeah. Strange. Okay. Well, let's fix the document camera. It kind of had a little bit of a hiccup. Lovely. Alright, let's go to properties and just adjust the resolution again. Whoops, okay. And we're back to a screen where we can't see anything. So let me go back down a little bit. There we go. Okay. There. But yes, what I would actually try, have you try to do is take anything, really. And I mean just, well, try the challenge of taking just a simple female and try drawing her. Just as she is and how she appears before you. Sometimes that is the trick. But you kind of have to understand the shapes of every last part of what you're drawing. But simple shapes and all that. Of course, when I do anything, I kind of go a little wild and just scribble on the page until I get something. Sometimes that's the more fun way to do it. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. But this is mostly why I use Photoshop on streams. Just because of how well it actually works on a stream. It uses less of the for some reason it uses less of the processor than Clip Studio. Even though I do have fun with Clip Studio. I will most likely... don't save. I will most likely just use Photoshop on this until I can use another program without me having to rely on Photoshop. Clip Studio is just going to have to be on the back burner for now, just because every time I try to use it on my computer, I don't like using multiple computers just to record something so easily done. So let's open Photoshop once more. It's a lot easier just to deal with Photoshop for now and learn about the consequences later in some ways. And there are many consequences regarding Photoshop. Especially its load time. But no, it's one of those things that I'm trying to find an alternative that doesn't so heavily rely on the computer. Doesn't so heavily rely on RAM as much. But you try to make things work and they tend not to work the way you want them to. Especially some of my devices, they just don't, they just show me the errors. Oh, you had an error? Oh, here you go. Here's it front facing forward. Here's how it happened. Yeah, no, file, new. There we go. And there we go. And create. Alright, so let's get back to Photoshop. Why don't we? Is it gonna just do this again? Okay. Okay, let's try this. There we go. Sometimes it just takes a moment. Weird. Alright. So, let's see. Let's start with something simple. So, let's start with the figure. In this one, I am going to do slight bit of the torso. Actually, slight bit is more of an exaggeration. I'm gonna use it to where, there we go, where it's just right at the hips and shoulders. And yes, I'm not very good at arms, so I tend to just leave off the arms in one way or another. Okay. We take her, minimize her again. And we all have issues with every different program. I have issues with every single program at all that exists. But I don't use a Windows computer when I draw. I use a Mac. Everybody thinks that a Mac is probably the best computer that anyone could ever get. I beg to differ. It's not the worst. For many things, it's not the worst. I've seen pretty bad computers that halt. even the computers that exist at stores and all that stuff, they're worse than any computer I ever owned. So, yeah, there are bad computers out there. It's just. And sometimes I've even bought a bad computer, not knowing it was bad at the time. It just turned out to be horrid. But hey, you live and you learn, and people are starting to down me to say, well, you don't really learn, you just kind of live your own life. There we go. Kind of lips there, but not really intended. So for the chest, you can make it big, but the challenge is to determine the size of how you want to make everything. So, and I'm going for simple, sleek aesthetic with not too big, but not too small either. Somewhere in the middle, like most people are, generally. uh, as I wait for my cursor to just... There we go. Yeah. I'm more of just getting the concept at this moment. Takes a moment for my pen to actually work properly. Yeah, I work with these challenges whenever I'm streaming. But let's see. Let's look up something that might help me out. So, new window. Let's see. Female. No. Let's see. Images. Well, standing. There we go. Yes, everybody uses reference images. There we go. This is more of what I was looking for. Let's bring this and put it on the left side of my screen. Well, to the left screen. So, yeah. Alright, so let's see. Do we want something like that? Or, where she's holding her belly? Where she has a heart? Not really. Where she has her hands on her hip. Sometimes the idea is you kind of just need to... I'm going to do it where she has her hands laid over herself. Yes. That's more of the natural pose that most people have whenever they're thinking about something. They just kind of have their hands in a neutral position. Okay. Come on. There we go. So we'll fix this later. Alright, so now that I have that, got that. So we just want her hands in a neutral position, so we're not going to mess with the head just yet. I'm still trying to figure out what to do here. So we're going to go with this sort of indignation of having it like this. Like that. I'm more of just putting down the guidelines of how I want this. And this will pop out a little bit, that's fine. And we'll need that. Make her head smaller, because right now it looks like a bobblehead. Alright, so there we go. Alright. So, let's see. We're going to move her around a little bit. We're going to take this, shrink it down, put it right about there. I'm being a little bit more ambitious on this one just because, why not? But hey, everybody has their own look on life. I know I haven't been streaming lately. I really do have to relax sometimes, but I also have to make money. But at this point, we're not making money. Well, not making any new money. I have money, but there's only so much it can get me by. Alright. So, let's see. Wrist, that. We're just gonna create something very generic here. So we're just creating something for the thumb, the hand. And so we can create the sort of likeness of just the hand. Yeah. People say I'm not very good at drawing people, well, drawing human figures, but it's been a while since I've actually seen, well, seen a friend or a female friend or anything like that. And I don't go out as much as I used to when I was in college and when I also went, went to many different types of camps that not even now I can afford. But hey, everything's just gotten so much more expensive. But hey, that's life for you. What can you do? Okay. Let's curve that. There we go. We do need to adjust everything just a bit. There we go. And we'll call it a C. Size, well, no, that kind of looks like a double D now. Oh well. It is what it is, but... As you can see, computer's kind of struggling here. So let's see. Just not feeling it today, so it may be a shorter stream than what I normally do because I don't like it when my computer just tends to have problems in this way. No, not like that. But yeah, so let's see. looks good. Even with all her sketchiness. Sorry. Couldn't help it. But if someone wishes to chat, they can chat. Hard to know if anybody's on the stream, too, but it's been a while, so most likely. Alright. And this will be on. I don't take off my streams. I could, but I like to see everybody's opinion unfiltered. I really don't care on filters or anything like that. Even so, one thing that I really hate is people intentionally screwing up an anime because, oh, there's nudity in it. Yeah. So, what's wrong with it? Oh, nothing. We just don't like that. Then don't watch it. Yeah, I'm having too many issues with my pen. Lovely, lovely. Come on. There we go. Alright. So, yeah, no, a lot of that has become an issue within the last couple of years. Actually, not the last couple of years, the last 10 years. Yeah. Yeah, so they've been censoring everything from one thing to the next, and now they're going digital to a lot of different things, but also just trying to find the old anime. Look for anime from the 2000s. Anime from the... Actually, just look up 2022 anime. The only way you can actually legitimately get it without having to go through so much hassle is to actually pirate it. It isn't that crazy? For someone to watch anime, they would have to know that they would have to pirate the anime in order to actually watch it, because how else are you going to get it? How else are you going to receive any of this content later on? Especially digital content that is only temporary, and even stuff on YouTube won't always be there. So, yes, I do. It just makes me mad to just see everything constantly. And you just want to fix it, but you don't even have the resources to fix it, or even fix this broken world that we're all in. Yes, I call it broken because it is broken. Every ounce on aspect of this world I found very broken in every single way. Of course, I remember my past lives unlike most people do, because I remember more lives than I can even count. And the thing is, I can count pretty high, and even if I were to count with the decimal places and the extremities of how much gigabytes, yottabytes, zettabytes, I remember things that used even higher capacities than that to... And I do remember the technology and actually how to build it, but that's another story. I don't have the money to do that. It'd be nice. But in order for me to actually build what I would want, I would need at least $20 million to do that. And that's only for one thing. To actually complete many different things, I would need $20 million for each idea I have. And the thing is, the R&D of that would be $20 million of trying to create the technology in the first place. Because some of this technology that I know of how to create, even the things that only show up in anime, yes, I know how to create virtual reality machines that can actually access your um, thoughts and feelings and all that. But many people would think I would be crazy or just very eccentric. But the thing is, I just know things from my past lives, and it, I don't retain all the knowledge, no. I do retain what I was and how I felt, and also how I feel now in comparison of how I felt. I still prefer the other lives, but hey, you can't pick and choose how you how you actually live anymore, because the only thing that really decides of what sort of circumstance you actually end in, kind of you, but also at the same time it's really just both you and every aspect of it. Yeah, I'm trying to draw and it's not working. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna mostly just sketch, and she did come out somewhat well. It's just I can't really go much further without having to turn off every single layer. Now she actually looks a lot better. I need to fix her left shoulder. Actually, right shoulder, and if you think of it, because it's a little bit too high. There we go. Yeah, there are just so many things that I tend to know without even stepping outside, and sometimes that just terrifies me. Of that, yeah, I know something that I don't even have to step outside my house, and I know it. Kind of pointless in some ways, but yeah, I don't like being someone who actually knows such things, but I tend to look at the world in a different way, in a different lens than most actually see their perspective of their own world. Because I'm actually trying to create 3 different comics. I'm trying to create 3 different card decks to at least originate. Um, you saw sort of what I'm trying to do. But yeah. I'll actually continue her. The thing is, I've been... Every single time I try to even work on a machine, I tend to have issues. I have no clue why I have so many issues with all these different well, I do understand why I have issues with all these different programs. It's because they're all very memory intensive. And Photoshop is one of them, and if there's a lot of code that exists right now within operating systems that could be better modified for an artist, because the thing is of how an artist actually thinks. Let me actually just go to the main camera. But main camera, will you work? I guess not. There we go. But things of what an artist actually thinks about, it differs from person to person, of course, but and all that. But the thing is, an artist thinks in an abstract way that sort of complements themselves, that also goes beyond what they think, and also just intensifies every ounce and aspect of who they are and who they wish to be. But hey, what can you actually do? An artist is an artist, and the way they actually interact with a screen, a digital display, um, differs from person to person. Um, I myself, I hear through the pen, so I can hear this. I can hear this. I hear every movement of every ounce that I move. All my muscles go back to my brain and send a signal telling me that I've moved something, or they send a signal back as a vibration that my brain translates and picks up and communicates that back to me as feedback. So even if I lose my hearing, even if I lose my sight, as long as I can feel, I can see. It's a weird concept, but it is another form of sight. So even if I do go blind, I really do not wish for that. I'm already slightly colorblind. I don't want to go even further, but no, I struggle like everybody else. I try to do what I'm doing. I mine crypto. The reason why I mine crypto is so that my money is not in the hands of just the government or controlled just by the government. I do. All this is not financial advice in any way, but I I dabble in crypto for that specific reason, but I also manage it in order to make it so that I learn new things. I don't like to just, as you can see, I'm not someone who stands still. And I can show you one thing that will show you exactly how in depth and how abstract my mind truly is. I'll show you my schedule. So, here's my schedule. You may have seen this on, well, Patreon. Well, not Patreon. Not Instagram. But one of the social media things. But this is my schedule. This is what what I follow. Every ounce of it is what I follow. And I'm right here. And for me to even say anything else, it would take maybe 10 minutes. But actually, I could do it within a minute, but still, you wouldn't be able to understand it. You still can't understand it, but this is basically how abstract my mind is. I don't try to make it this abstract. It just turns out this way. This is diaphragm, by the way. It's not a language you can actually find. It's not a language you can actually search for. It is not a language that anybody that I know knows. It's a language that I brought with me from my past lives. This is just, well, this is just the part of it. It's also called the spirit language, as it actually is part of the spirits. And no, I'm not crazy. This is just how my mind works. everybody works in a different way. Everybody has. Sometimes people just, for artists, sometimes they just write in a different language. That's not even native to their own, just to express exactly what they want to think about, what they want to see, what they want to do and act. So if you look, well, if you could see, let's switch over to the other camera. Let's, well, if that camera was working for some reason, we'll see later. But hey, um, no, I I try to work at trying to get things working. I for something that I would wish for to exist for most people is an easy job agency that they can actually help you find a job that is actually suited for you. It would be nice that this country would have one in every city, in every state, but try looking for that in the U.S. You really can't find it very easily. You actually have to go to a larger city in order to actually find such an agency. And most of those agencies that actually physically exist do not exist anymore because people haven't needed them, and the reason why they went out is a mystery to people. Sorry. But yeah, and of course I can be a, well, anybody can be a voice actor if they actually tried, because I can change my voice in any way, in any words. Yes, it is very, very hard, and anybody can do it to it. But there are so many things that people have that are so hard to do. And everybody, and yes, I mean everybody can know. But yeah, no. Everybody can. Well, not everybody. There are people who are very talented in changing and throwing their voice. Um, I can also sound like a dog. But no. There are many different ways that, as creatives, we are eccentric. We are ones to induce passion and not induce passion, but also just to just find our way. I'm going to I'm going to end this stream, but the only reason why is I'm still having issues with my devices. It doesn't seem to be working at this exact moment, but I do have this document camera right here. Um, and that works fine to some extent. As you saw earlier, it paused on me. So, no, I need to figure out what's wrong and most likely have to restart my computer and do a few things. I'm still working on getting the videos out, so those won't be out until most likely later this week or closer to next week. Um, and yes, I will have it automatically release those videos. I'm going to work on at least 3 to 4 different videos just so that uh, it'll last through the next couple of weeks. Uh, this won't be my last live stream. I'm going to be taking not so much of a break, but I will be back more so not tomorrow. Uh, I'll see if I can do it Friday, but it really depends on what my plans will be. Most likely, I will only. Actually, it will be. Let's see, Friday. Friday is the 22nd. I may end up doing it Saturday, so it it, it, it may change. But please look at the well, look at my Twitter or any of the other different portals. Well, any of the other different places. Patreon, I am starting to constantly put some feedback on there, so mostly this is just for an update of what I'm doing, and I did try to draw something on. Well, I did try to draw something on the stream. It's just never did work out. So what can you do? But I do hope you guys have a good night. Have a wonderful Christmas, and I do hope to see you guys. I believe, yeah. Ne- After Christmas, but she will end up being an elf, so I will try to finish this before Christmas on either 2 days before or um, on this Saturday. So, yeah, it's most likely just going to be this Saturday. So, I do hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas, and I bid you a good night. This is Tech Artist 41 signing off for today. Uh, Hope you enjoyed the stream, and please look at all my other content, and hope everybody has a good night. Well, this Tim signing off.